Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the B Team Podcast. As always, they are live on the Jackrabbit Illustrated Facebook and Twitter. We are also live on the FCS Fans Nation YouTube for the fans, by the fans. Beyond that, you can catch the show if you don't catch it live anywhere you get your favorite podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere in between. As always, the B Team is brought to you by our title sponsor, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. If you need a tractor, utility vehicle, construction equipment, zero-turn motors, parts, service, and more, there's always a Kubota dealer near you with 8 locations across the great state of South Dakota. Stop in today and get yourself into some orange equipment. We would also like to take a moment to thank our segment sponsors, Culver's, Brookings and Watertown, Jackrabbit Central, and Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill. And now, B-Team Mafia, the time's arrived. Here's Ben, Chad, and Brendan.
All right, B-Team Mafia, what is up? Welcome back. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, able to spend it with friends, family, or loved ones. And if you weren't, hopefully you still had a good time anyways. I've been there before. Thanks for joining us. And gosh, do I ever appreciate you guys being our schedule keepers and letting us know if we're late or not. That is what would we do without you guys? Because clocks are hard, but we appreciate you guys.
Here's an idea. Just crack open a Busch Light 5 minutes before the show, and if you get to the end of it beforehand, you've got a problem. And if not, just sip on it till we show up.
Yeah. You know what? Next time, I bet you can't chug a beer before we get back on, before we start the show. So we'll try that. And then if you do, then see if you can chug 2. And the show will be a lot better after that.
And if you do chug 1, or if you do chug 2 before the show starts, then come see me and we'll see who's faster.
And let's just clarify. Normally it is me being late.
But this time was not Ben.
Okay.
It's not bad.
We're very vocal about when it's
clarify that. I know.
We would have sort of been late, but we were talking to our lovely guest, Amanda England from the local. We've been in contact with her. I know everybody's wondering what's going on, where are we going, what's the show, what's the deal. We will be having a live show at the local. They're letting us do that on Saturday. And obviously last year they put up the Jack sign, became the official, unofficial SDSU fans bar down there. And then they got hit with a bus. It got hit. They didn't know what hit them. And, we talked about it last year, and, Amanda, we've talked about it and stuff. They just, didn't know what was coming down the tracks at them. And they did an awesome job despite that. I mean, they really bent over backwards to do the best they could. But this year, Amanda has been in charge of getting things ready at the local, things we're doing down there, and all that stuff, and having things prepared. So we wanted to bring her on to give everybody the option to ask her questions, have her explain to everybody what the locals' plans are, and go from there. Because I know, Amanda, you said you guys have a lot of stuff in place for drinks because South Dakotans and running out of beer, it's a badge of pride to run a bar out of beer. But I know you guys are going to have a bunch of stuff in place to stop that this year.
Well, why did no one tell me about Busch? Like, no one said, you said you're coming, and you're coming in droves. I mean, thousands, 10,000, 20,000. I told the owner, to be fair, I was tasked with inviting you all and getting us on your radar last year in 2.5 days, let's be honest. And I told him, so I believed you. But that was like from out of nowhere that first night within 4 hours. But no one said anything about Busch.
Busch Light's it's a Midwestern thing.
Upper
if
Midwest.
Not Busch Light, nobody's gonna die. It'll be fine. But it is the fan favorite around here. Obviously, we will still drink the beer if it's not Busch Light.
No, we did the liquor order today, I believe. So we now know. I mean, perfect. I think they should probably sponsor your show. Give some NIL money. We don't. I mean, your fans, sir. They're chugging beers, left and right.
Yeah. Our fans really came out in droves there. I don't think we could turn around without bumping into somebody who said they watched the show, and we appreciate all of you listeners out there and our sponsor, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. But I know when we were talking last week or the week before, last week I think, you guys have some plans for extra beer serving stations. Is that correct? That'll be around the bar and things like that.
It's actually so we had just opened the local. So the local's owned by Harder Concepts, which is a family-owned business. The mama goes to work for all the bars every day. There are 5 bars, and that had just opened. By the way, I think it was maybe a month before, and so it was a good lesson to be learned, I guess you would say. So we have food trailers out there, and there's 2 food trailers that are empty because one of them is actually a daiquiri shack. I'd like you guys to vote on the name. It's either Jack Wagon or the Jack Shack, but that will be a beer station. And then we'll have Beer Tub Girls as well as just limited liquor so that not everybody has to go to.
Let's make it a Busch Light station.
I mean, let me make a phone call now. I was just telling you that. But no, so not in addition to that, I mean, we've got the trailers, of course, but then the offset is the beer tubs, as well as, when you go to a game, like a football game inside of the concession, there's always a line. But if there's just wine or there's just a whiskey station, I mean, even if I don't drink whiskey, I'll go drink whiskey just to get that drink. So, yes. You had asked me about porta potties, and so I still have to get I'll ask about that. But as far as a new trash service, car services, because that was a cluster. So yeah, I looked at what happened last year in such a short amount of time. I mean, it was a Thursday, guys. Come on. And then one of the other requirements we're getting the South Dakota State girls basketball game on. And I've made sure that all of the South Dakota State athletic games that will be going they can be displayed on the televisions for the audio and visual.
That's very cool.
That's cool.
It is very cool. And for our live show, you're going to have, I believe we're going to be on half the TVs, right?
Yes. So we're going to get with your audio and visual guy, but yes, we have the capabilities to where every other TV can be, it's set up like a sports bar. For those of you that have been there, you probably didn't know that because it was, shoulder to shoulder. But that way we can still play the games, and we'd like to be able to do that and then facilitate your needs as far as bringing the people you need up there and decorating it. It's yours. I told you, a blank canvas.
That's awesome. And there's plans for live music over the weekend, possibly some karaoke going on.
You guys requested the karaoke. Come on now. That was what I heard. Didn't tell. This year all I've heard is Bush and karaoke. And
yes.
I mean, so yes. Well, we are Texas, and we're very proud of our football, our faith, and our Texas red dirt country music. And so we thought instead of just having an acoustic show that on that Friday, we would blow it out for you and have a full band. Manny Trevino, who's somebody that's played with us before. He plays normally their acoustic shows, but he's going to bring steel guitar, a live band. We'll have a DJ before and a DJ after, but there'll be a full live band. And I told him to learn your song unless there's a new one. And he interacts with the crowd, but we wanted to give you a little taste of Texas since, we feel like we're kind of, 6 degrees of separation. We're related in some way because we support you guys. And then Saturday, we're going to do karaoke followed by a band. Sunday after the game, we figured, hey, why not some more live music after the game? So.
Heck yeah. And then you guys are going to also have golf cart shuttles down. Is that still happening?
That was an insurance issue, especially with
boo! Insurance makes everything.
We're supposed to say anything yet because I haven't finalized the deal. But walking out into that sea of people, I think it was midnight on a Friday, I realized nobody could get Ubers, and I saw a couple people with party buses. And then there were just a lot of people trying to walk. So what I did is I went to a local car service and I asked it, what kind of vehicles do you have? And they told me they have all different kinds, and I made a deal, and I got a coupon code, and we can pre-book. They have an app. We can pre-book for shuttles or transportation from the airport for those of you flying in, and then car services. Then we've got the bookings of the party buses. But we are going to have a couple cars that are SUVs that'll be considered a group shuttle, and you'll have a wristband is what they're talking about. So you want to go and you come back. Same thing. We'll organize it to where it'll take you to the pep rally and the game if need be. So that is not finalized yet, though.
My bad. I jumped the gun. I get excited sometimes.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that, everything we saw is easily fixable. And I just want this experience, now that I've had more time and learned from experience, I wanted to address, the things that kind of were inconvenient and, it puts a damper on, buzzkill. If there's no alcohol, then you've got to get to another bar. But if you can't get to another bar, you're sober on a Friday night at midnight.
Yep.
Oh, and food. Yes. We're grilling out too. Barbecue, bratwurst, hot dogs.
You're speaking my language with bratwurst. You're speaking deep Midwestern soul food right there.
We thought about brisket, but then we said, this isn't about us.
Ooh.
This isn't about Texas.
We do love brisket.
The Midwest.
We love brisket. We love brisket. The only person in this whole group that's here that doesn't like brisket is someone that doesn't understand what real barbecue is. His name's KP Marshall in the chat. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he knows his Carolina barbecue is inferior, so he tries to disqualify Texas barbecue.
Well, are you guys?
It's a sad thing to see him stoop that low.
Do you still plans on going to visit the barbecue?
I do. Yes, the wife and I still are planning on running down to Snow's barbecue. Yes, we are.
And as long as they still have the taco shack just down the way, I am so going to that.
It's next door.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
There's a lot of changes right behind us now. Is a soccer where the volleyball courts used to be. They turned that into a soccer area for all different leagues. But we still have the taco stand. And then the inside of the restaurant changed. It used to be burgers. Now it's pizza. So late night pizza by the slice available.
That's probably a good plan.
I mean, we're bringing our A-game, guys.
That's also something South Dakota State fans are very well versed in, is pizza by the slice from a window. So be just like Brookings, except warmer.
What's the toppings though?
Usually it's a 3-meat
pepperoni. Yeah, or 3-meat.
They do a 3-meat. Yeah, there's a bar downtown that's famous in Brookings, so that's what he's getting at.
Okay.
Yes.
So all of this sounds amazing. Are you going to post out like a itinerary or an infographic or something like that with all this?
I am, and so the biggest thing is I have all the events from our side confirmed. There's a few other special events that we're still waiting for. And then I need your guys' lineup.
Yes.
So, or do we want to make it a surprise?
No, we're going to share it.
You could probably, as far as what you tell people, you could probably just tell people JI will be on from whatever time to whatever time.
You
don't need to be more specific than that. But
so what I did is I created something that's similar to this. This was last year's, but I put a schedule on there.
Nice.
And so we've had a lot of requests from, the alumni or the just different organizations raising money to asking if they could sell shirts. So what we did in between those trailers, I just recently walked it, but we've got little 10 by 15 sections where each one of them can set up and they can sell their different merch. So, you're all raising money for the school. Mm-hmm. It just goes into, various departments. And so it's not as if you're competing against each other. So Saturday is that they can sell anywhere from 11 to 5. So that'll be there. So last year it was cold and everybody kept asking for hoodies.
That's relative cold.
I'm going to buy one. I mean, But no, so that'll be going on, and then and so I'll just put an itinerary with the map so everybody knows, and then a link underneath it. Tag all of y'all so they know the nearest hotels, just kind of all that stuff that you don't know when you're traveling. So
That'll
yes, sir.
be
I've
great.
already made that one, and it's scheduled to go out. So
I like it. Yeah, Jack's
So-
fans will love that. We've had a lot of people asking, where do we go? What time do we go? So they're looking for that information, and we'll be sure to redistribute it once you send it out too.
With special hours, and this is our bar that's right. It's on the same street, by the way. It's all called an area of Austin Ranch. This is the smaller bar. It's a pub style, with like family style pub tables. They will have karaoke on Saturday, or band music on Saturday, karaoke on Friday. So we flip flopped because apparently South Dakota State loves their karaoke, and so we're trying to give
I think
options.
they just loved Brendan's vocal stylings is what it was, and the
What's
Rev.
the song?
Oh, it's the Rev.
Oh,
What's
what's
my
the song?
song?
Brendan does all country
Oh
stuff
gosh,
real well.
yeah, all sorts of country stuff.
Oh, I can't sing. I can't hold a tune.
I believe it is Dustin, to answer your question.
Yep. Yeah, we went there last year. Some of us, me, Rev, the Podfather, we all stopped down there last year. Yeah, he's the one over my shoulder, the Podfather.
Yeah, Matt.
Matt. For any new fans who are looking, no, Dustin McKinnell. If Thunder
Dustin McKinnell.
and this is for you. Did I say Dustin McKinnell?
You sure did.
Zach, Blue Blood. Yeah, that's how agitated I was. This is, if you want a riot that ends up with flames and tears, play Thunderstruck, because people will riot.
Yeah,
we played that last year.
Yes,
don't do that.
and it did not go well.
What would be great is if you could
We should have told you ahead of time.
Yeah.
We should have told you ahead of time.
You didn't know. It got taken down pretty quick.
That's funny. If you guys want to take a poll of some of the music, like because we do have that full Texas Red Dirt Country Band that's going to be there Friday night. I would love to hear their top 5 songs. I know the one song that you guys want to hear. But I'd love to hear that. I mean, I'd love the feedback so that we can cater to you guys. Like I said, for you guys on the stage doing the podcast, tell me what you want and see if I can facilitate it. But
fireworks and parachutists.
Liquor.
What would my mafia name be? Because we got Podfather.
What would your be? Well, none of us have great nicknames.
No. Well, you Thumper, right?
That's like that's a thing. I get called Thumper, but that's not really from this. That predates this. That's internet days of yore gone by.
We could call you Hello Kitty.
We could.
And why?
I don't
lost
know.
the bet and had to wear kitty ear headphones.
Not you, Brendan.
Oh, I thought it was like me. I was
Brendan, not you. I apologize. I was talking.
I
was confused too for a second.
I'm so sorry. The kid go X-rated, so I'm just like,
no, not on this podcast.
Brendan,
yeah.
Brendan
we
had.
do have one right on this. It's inferred on this podcast. We'd never do it to a guest ever.
No,
okay,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know my background is working with a bunch of fighters, so I mean, I hear it all. But
yeah, that's cool.
No, my nickname's actually UK, and a former boss of mine gave that to me like years ago and I'm like, why? He's like, your last name's England, UK, duh. I was like,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So Corey Mensch wrote in this question. I don't know if you'd like to just respond to that. I think you can see that right on screen.
Well, so I do not want. That's a tricky question. I'm gonna say yes. You won't get towed. How's that?
That's what
we're looking to hear.
That's the right answer. I'll pay $10 for a ticket overnight to park somewhere as long as it doesn't get towed.
Yeah, they're just looking if they come in their own vehicle, have a good time, take an Uber or a Lyft or whatever. Can they come back in the morning and their car will still
100%. I just don't want to promote that as and all of a sudden we've got a parking lot full of cars. But well, that goes back to I will have that confirmed by tomorrow. I've got to get with your friend of mine, Miss Kristen.
Mhm.
But we will have the link in the app so that we won't have that issue anymore of Ubers or rides from the hotels, because we have the main 3 hotels that are owned by one family that are right near there that everybody seems
Nice.
to be gravitating towards.
I think I'm
Awesome.
staying at the Loft in Plano, which is
Aloft, I love that hotel.
Yep, that's where I'm at as well.
It's a
If you
nice
can
looking
take me
hotel,
through
and
your touristy
you got
stay zone.
Pin Stack right behind you.
Yep, and you're real close to the stadium, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
you guys
yeah.
have the pep rally's different this year. It's at
Yes.
the
Star.
At the Star.
Where it was
That's-
during the spring season, so people will be familiar with that space.
That's going to be really cool. That's going to pose but that getting in there is going to pose a traffic jam too. So we'll make sure to have the shuttles, I guess you would say. It's not going to be like the scary, creepy vans, but it will be like a Suburban, and we can organize those.
I'd be more exciting that way if it was a creepy van. I mean, where am I getting dropped off? I mean, talk about excitement.
I would be excited if there was an advertisement on the side of the van letting me know there was free candy.
Well, I'm sure there were quite a few that drank one too many Busch Lights that woke up the next morning and didn't know how they got there or where they were. So it could have happened last year.
That certainly would never be me, because I hold myself to such a high standard.
So what are your guys' plans? So you're going to do the podcast on the stage, and you're going to bring me some swag so I can decorate it with some rabbits. But we are going to have banners. But what do you got planned? Is 1 to 3?
That is the plan as of right now. I believe is 1 till 3 that will have the pod. Might go a little longer, pending how loosey goosey we get with our time, because we tend to talk a lot. I have a big mouth, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So we might tail off a little longer after that, and then I don't see us going any later than 3:30. But
I told you
that's
you can have it till 8:30.
Perfect.
The alumni event, I believe, is at 4, right? 4 to 6.
Yep, the alumni event's at 4. Some of us are going, some of us are not. So that'll also be a thing. So some of us will jet off, and some of us might still be chatty Cathy's, because we'll have our lineup of guests that's likely to be fluid, because we'll have people who show up and people who don't, and people who, and all that as that goes, because we got a lot of friends. Our favorite podcast whore Rev is in the comments here, so we've got we've got a fair amount of folks who'll be on and off, and I just don't see us keeping it being done at 3. That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody play cornhole? Do you guys like cornhole?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Love cornhole.
South Dakotans do love cornhole. Yes.
The one Ben down there is don't let him fool you. Don't play him for money or anything. He'll rob you blind.
I just ordered red or yellow and blue cornhole bags, and I think there's 5 of them. So option on Friday for some cornhole tournaments. I just need to know if that's something that the fans want, then I can help organize it, or we just let them do it on their own.
I believe Matt had talked about that a little bit, organizing a tournament. So
I mean, it's easily done. I just need to know if people want to do it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I think you get enough interest for it, especially if you kind of tell us ahead of time and we can get that information out. And I'm sure you'd have people very interested in doing that.
Well, I mean, so on that stuff, that stuff's easy for me. I just need to know that there's a need or want for it, and then how do we want to run it? I mean, I've heard that you take it very seriously. Myself, I'm more of an air hockey kind of gal.
I love air hockey.
I love air hockey.
Oh my gosh, the owner put an air hockey machine in all of his bars. This was back in 2012 to 2014, 15, because of myself and my friends, we played teams. So if I would score on one person, the other one would switch in. I may or may not have been responsible for the replacement of a couple televisions and some chips in the tables, but it was a good time. But it was just so loud. But it brought in a lot of business.
They're a lot of fun.
if people want to play, if you've got, you got the alumni, I know that you guys are still organizing your event and getting everything set up. You want to mention that to them, and I can set it up in bracket style, however you want to do it, and then we push it out. Most of the flyers have already been made. It's the small details where we really push because we really want this to be a reciprocal relationship, where you're getting the visibility because from the locally, like, so that they all become South Dakota State fans, and vice versa. So we appreciate you coming back, number one, to the local, and then also just the support that you've shown us here locally. So
we're excited to inundate the local again, and
to drink and actually be able to enjoy a cocktail.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's gonna be a blast. So
it will be fun.
We're looking forward to that, and we will be in touch with you as well. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got to get into the game stuff as well, unfortunately, here. Otherwise, we get yelled at for going too long by the Podfather and all that stuff. So thank you so much for joining us. If people want to follow the local and keep up with the things you're putting out, we'll repost it. But should they also follow you on Facebook and things like that to
Instagram,
most up-to-date stuff?
Instagram, everything ties in, and I have a post that's about, it's scheduled 9:00 my time. It's scheduled to go out at 10 p.m. tonight, and it tags everybody.
But no Twitter, right?
You mean X? You mean Threads?
Yep. Yeah, call it. No, not Threads.
I don't care if there's a fire. I'm not calling them dad.
You're not my dad.
Is that a big social
Twitter we use quite a bit? Yeah.
Okay, definitely we have an account. Thank you for that.
I just tried to find it and couldn't, so
I will I have all of your information, so I'll add you and then we'll push it out.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me, and look forward to seeing you all.
So.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So now everybody's got an idea of what's going on and what's happening. But
for the
local. But Ben, I know you're on the tailgate planning committee.
I am on the tailgate. It's coming along, and the support for it has been incredible. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Chad's probably pulling up our most recent sponsor graphic here. But yeah, the response, I mean, like we told you before, we can't throw an awesome party without the money that you guys provide for it. And people have responded, and we thank you, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be better than last year. It's going to be bigger than last year. Last year we had no idea what to expect, how many people would show up. Now we know. And so we're going to plan for that. The layout will be better. We'll have more beer. We'll have more food. The food will be easier to access. It's going to be all around better. I've heard that people want more porta potties. I've asked. We'll see what we get. The stadium provides those. But yeah, we're doing all we can to make it a great party for everybody. The plan is to have everything ready by 8. I believe the lots are going to open up a little earlier. 7, I think, is when the lots open up. So you'll be able to get in there and park and maybe have a Bloody Mary or something while you're waiting for us to get set up. But we'll be ready to go by 8, which is 5 hours ahead of game time, I believe. Game's at 1.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Other than that, I guess I teased this last time, but I can confirm we're doing a video board that will be showing all of our sponsors during the tailgate. We can show some video on there too if we want. And then once the game starts, the game will be broadcast on that with it has a speaker as well. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Chad's got the list of major sponsors on here. I'll run through them real quick. From the top, we've got Cubbies, Kubota Deals of South Dakota, Boyce Law Firm, Holtzworth Farms, Blue Tide Car Wash, DeBoer Construction, the Kjeldin family, Bloom Raider Farms, Josiah's Coffee House, Mensch Greenhouse, Creekside Meats, J.M. Bussy Ford, Beal Distributing, Northwestern Mutual, SNL Painting, Bowen and Associates, Dakota Butcher, Lang Accounting and CFO Services, the Dunn Family, King Ag, Hub City Farms of Vermilion, South Dakota, Mike Schaefer's College Football Prospects, and Brookings Family Dental. Thank you to all of those major sponsors, and thank you to all the individuals that have contributed to the tailgate. As we have mentioned in other posts, we use the money to provide a great party for everybody. Any money over the top of what we spend on that party will go to the JFPA, which then obviously directly impacts the program with the things that the awesome things that the JFPA does. So, yeah, I don't.
How big is the video board going to be?
It's a big one.
Very specific.
You
Gives
know,
people the info they need to know.
I don't have.
It's a big one. What is that?
I've got a big TV, but
is that your pickup line or what?
I mean, it looks as large as a vehicle. I'm just going to ignore that you said that.
It's a lot of size. There's a lot of different size vehicles too. Like for instance, my truck can't fit in the garage, but if I had a Ford Fiesta, I'd fit
okay,
4 of
well, hang on. See this video board here?
Awesome.
It's like covering up that truck behind it. So
is that a
friends.
Chevy Love or is that an F-250? Like I need some reference.
It's a Ram 1500, I think.
Oh, so it's a little boy truck.
Well, whatever.
Anyway,
T-bone.
Why did you want to know how big the video board was?
Just so people know, like, I mean, there's a difference between, you know, like a 70-inch video board.
I mean, I wouldn't be talking about
video board like that one. So, but I'm just saying,
I'm not bringing a 32-inch TV and telling people to huddle around it and watch the game.
All right, I'm just saying. So, if you have friends who are like, God, I'd go, but I can't. Tickets are too expensive, or I can't go. Tell them about that in the tailgate lot, because that'll be so much cooler than anything. If you want to go, but you're like, if the tickets are too much, go down anyways. The worst thing that happens is you get to watch in the tailgate lot on a video board. I mean, that is Lambeau Field style shit, which is awesome.
With audio.
There
will be sound, yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. That is so cool. You got to do that. So, go down and if people are worried about things being too expensive, will Ben's face be on it as well?
What? My face?
Yeah, you're the one talking about the size of your video board. I don't know.
We can put my face on it.
Sure. He's slowly getting redder as we talk. This is my favorite part of the show. How red can Ben's face get? It's my favorite.
And people came here to talk about football.
We'll get there eventually. We probably weeded out the Montana fans who are listening by now.
Yeah, we did have some.
Here's a public service announcement for the record from the Rev. You got to buy your tailgate liquor Saturday because you can't buy liquor on Sunday in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas except for liquor sales on Sunday.
And they do sell beer on Sunday, but you have to wait until like 10 or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is
you can get beer, you can't get liquor.
Leads to a sad Brendan at the tailgate lot. So
yes, the point is, definitely buy it ahead of time. And that's another good point, is that we will have a lot of free beer. We're gonna have more free beer than we had last year, and it'll be a combination of light beer and seltzers. But
I wonder why we had seltzers.
Ben's involved. We're gonna have seltzers.
We would get complaints. It doesn't matter.
They're gonna be carbless, right? Carbless.
Carbless.
No carbless.
High noon.
They're gonna be White Claws.
They'll be White Claws.
His favorite.
No, we would get. Anyway,
Ben loves the flavor of drinking water and having his kids yell "orange" from the background, so he knows it tastes like orange.
People would be angry if all we had was light beer. We have female fans that drink seltzers.
We do.
Hey,
we have
male fans.
Don't pretend like we have
too.
female fans that don't drink beer, though.
I'm saying we have male fans that drink seltzers too, and so we're an equal opportunity show here. It doesn't matter what your drink of preference is. We'll have it for you.
The EOS, the B team. We're EOS, baby. Equal opportunity show. We have a shocking amount of female viewers.
Ariel, I love me some High Noons, but they're real expensive. And so our money won't go as far if we start buying High Noons for everybody.
Why is she like she's gonna drink anything anyways? What are you talking about, honey? I love you, but we both know you're not drinking. What are you?
That's pretty late in the game to be drinking there, Ariel.
Like, look, I want to stay smarter than my kid, but that's cheating. You can't do that.
We're working on that. You can't say that. We're working on.
You just did.
Sure, you can. I just said that.
Pudding shots. I don't know if we'll be able to do them this year
Chad,
or not.
But Chad, guess what came in the mail?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, is it going to be hot though? I'll take one for the team because Rev wore the bunny suit.
What's a YP, right? That's a YP right there.
Yeah, well, it is a YP.
What came in the mail?
MP for me.
It's
blue
suit.
and fuzzy.
His blue Santa suit came in the mail. We got him one.
Blue Santa does have to have pudding shots.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But to be fair, I did not lose a bet. But I would wear it willingly. Let's see what the weather's like.
We could get Chad drunk enough to wear that.
If it's above 70 degrees,
just go.
Rev wore a whole rabbit costume.
Just go Rev style and don't wear anything underneath.
Yeah. There's no way that goes poorly. There's no way that goes.
Nobody wants that.
I want Chad to be internet famous.
Seen
rushing the field, falls down, pants fall off.
Does it happen?
The good thing is there's not going to be much to see without some additional zoom, but
it would be amazing if is it like a Santa jacket?
Yeah.
Like if you were. That's what I'm saying. Like if
it'd be like Bad Mom's Christmas, where they got the Santa
in the tailgate
up on the bar.
Yeah,
and the first guy rips his things off, and he's got the man boobs and the fat hanging. That's me, bud. I mean, we all have met me. Like nobody wants to see that.
So I don't know how we recover from. How far we've gone.
No.
We're like, hey, Amanda, we got to talk football now. Anyways, Chad's naked under a Santa suit. There's a visual for you all.
It hasn't been confirmed about the cowbells, but last year they did not. They let them in. So I mean,
you could Google a device called a Loud Cup.
Maybe.
In theory, they're on sale
for $16. Not
for $16 with free shipping. Allegedly,
sitting. I'm pretty sure we have pictures of you.
You did not have a shirt under that damn rabbit shoot. There ain't no goddamn way. We have so much evidence of you, and you were sober enough to remember that.
Yeah.
It did smell bad laying on Ben's rental after the game. I do know that.
Oh, no.
He just left it on your rental. It was funny.
That's going to be great. Yes, everybody's going to be walking around asking about Ben's wiener.
Did you tell Amanda? Buddy. Did you tell Amanda?
No, I did not tell Amanda.
No,
I don't know when to appropriately fit that into a conversation.
Well, she probably knows now. It sounds like she's still watching.
When we're doing a semi-professional conversation.
If she's still watching. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, she's still watching. It's a bet thing. Amanda, if you're watching and anyone new to the show, we had our picks against the spread over the year, and Ben got beaten horrifically. So his punishment is wearing a hot dog costume, which will be here on the 29th.
Which seems equal to the punishment that Brendan's wearing right now, right?
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
it does not seem equal at all.
Fair's fair.
Somebody call the ambulance.
You should suck less. Have you considered that?
Anyway, she's here.
Sorry.
And, Amanda's still here. The local Shacks at Austin Ranch. They have a sweet Jack's logo as their profile picture.
That's awesome.
They do. Yep. So, about the game, it's starting to get spicy online, boys.
It is.
The Montana fans are getting spicy. I ended up in a 3 billion notification tweet storm. because
It's
of
one
Ryan
guy,
Jensen's tweet, and then
Yeah, I
one
had
guy
to-
got in there, and
Oh my
everybody
God.
decided to engage this guy.
Had to mute that.
And yeah, that had to go quiet. It was nuts. So the bet was a year long. We picked FCS games the whole way against the spread, and Ben got hammered. But yeah, it's getting spicy online. The Facebook page is like unreadable. FCS Fans Nation right now. FFN network that we are on. So if you're watching us on there on that YouTube, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's getting spicy, boys. This is what we were hoping for with NDSU last year. But I think that
none of it.
And I think it would have been like that, had things gone a little closer during the season and things like that. I think it would have made a difference, but they just had no faith, no hope, no faith at the end. And we're getting all of it with Montana, and it's exciting and it's fun.
We were pretty close to them in the regular season game last year, NDSU, right? I mean, that wasn't the first half
but that was like early in the year, and
yeah,
I don't know.
I think they saw what was coming after watching the second half and went,
right.
They didn't play well the first half. We're not going to do well if we play two halves against that.
Right. But no, this is fun. It's exciting. I got the Montana Delaware game rocking in the background right now. One of the advantages of moving my podcasting setup to the basement, besides the better acoustics, so that's cool.
You watching on your bed sheet?
Yeah, I am. With the Bose soundbar below it. I'm going to upgrade everything so far except for that screen.
We discussed this
it's going to drive
night.
you nuts. Just out of spite. I will.
Has the outlet in the background of the screen.
I'm going to paint it orange. So it stands out more.
I think what you should do is take a picture of Ben in his hot dog costume and then make a custom switch or wall plate cover and put that right on the cover there, so that he's always like,
think of the possibilities. I like it. No, but no, Montana fans, you get people who when we talk about how SDSU's defense is underrated, like it happens all the time. This defense just gets underrated. You get, everybody's worried about how we're going to stop the Jacks offense. And it's the defense that kills you. We're giving up 9 points a game, and there's people, our skill guys are going to get explosive plays. They're not going to be able to keep up with so-and-so, which I mean, they got studs for sure. But I don't get how you look at the matchup and look at the games that were close with SDSU and think the way to do it is you were going to put a bunch of points on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where that narrative comes from. Stone was kind of pushing it a little bit too.
Again, God bless him.
He's just secretly a Jacks fan and trying to get the team up. I don't know.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, to think that Montana's going to come in and put up a bunch of points is just nuts to me. I mean, I just don't see it turning into a track meet. I think their best bet, like we've talked about with every team we've played this year, that their best bet is to keep the ball out of our offense's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And them like having a quick strike offense is not going to benefit them very much. Not only that, but our defense is set up to not allow quick strikes. That's
Right.
Jimmy's MO, 100%. And so if that's all you're going to try to do, good luck with that. I think you need to try to grind it out a little bit and muddy up the game. But yeah, it's just nuts to think that, as good as this defense is, I mean, the Podfather was pulling some stats comparing this defense to some past years of dominant FCS defenses, and it was right up there. I mean, it was the stats all across the board except for sacks, which, we talk about, QB hurries versus QB sacks. But every other statistic was as good or better for this year's SDSU defense, which has just been dominant. So yeah, to have that be the narrative is just kind of weird.
Right. I mean, like you said, we've talked about it. You got to keep the offense off the field, drive the field, and score touchdowns. If that's why Montana State was close. That's why Southern Illinois was able to get it close, even though that game gets a little bit wrongly portrayed as being like super out or whatever. And the other thing is, I don't love looking at, like, Sam Herder has the statistical comparison, right? The tail of the tape for SDSU versus Montana on Hero Sports, if anybody's wondering. And it just goes through and it lists every team's rank, nationally on everything, strength schedule, all the way down to rushing, offense, defense, everything. I caution people against that a little bit, weighing that too much, because we all remember on this show how hard we dogged Montana because they were playing like dog shit the first part of the year. You just were. That's factually accurate, and that's okay. They did an incredible job turning that around, and they're in a national title game, and they're a damn good team. But I do think that the Montana rankings and a lot of that nationally is skewed because of how they started the year. On the same token, because Montana fans' favorite thing to point out is comparative scores for whatever reason. It's not, we're going to get the ball in Junior Bergen's hands and he's going to make things happen, or Gubner is going to give you guys all sorts of problems or whatever. It was really close against Montana State. We killed Montana State, which, coming from a team that lost to Northern Arizona, struggled with Butler, who didn't even win the Pioneer League, and struggled with the D2 team, you'd think you would recognize how much a team improves over the course of the year. Good teams that are in the semifinals, national championship. And DSU is not the team they were when they played USD and UND. We saw that. So comparing against the first game is silly. Comparing SDSU, and if you're a Jacks fan looking at, well, look how close it was to look at the last game Montana State played, or Montana State. Woo, I'm going to hear that one. Montana played against NDSU. Looking at that and going, well, that they didn't look very good in that game. We just talked about that before the semifinals, how that turns out. Like, you cannot overreact off of one game. But there are some statistical things you can pick up that are important off of here. I mean, you can see the effect Gubner and their blitzing, confusing style, the 3-3-5, really helps with their third down conversion, because the way Gubner can blow up a play, man, that dude's a problem. Like, he's gonna be a real problem.
Right. Before you get too far into these comments,
too much.
We do have to know what happened to your wall, by the way.
What does he mean? What happened to my wall?
I don't know. It looks like there's a hole in it or something.
I think it's a hook, isn't it? A command hook?
No. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
So I've got a side business that involves elephants and selling things on the black market, and you got it afterwards, or it's terrible.
Is that like a pink elephant with blood on it?
I don't know. I really
anyway.
That's a bad Santa reference. Sorry, watched that too much.
I don't know. It's white paint.
We'll just anyway,
everybody
Garrett Meyer has a pretty good stat here that I did not know. He said that the SDSU defense gives up a touchdown on only 12% of drives. The Grizz offense only scores on 30% against who they played. So, just another, kind of supporting for the fact that our defense is really good, and to have the narrative be that Montana is going to be able to score at will is just kind of nuts. What else was we going to say here? Oh yeah. The other thing I wanted to address, how the Rev says, good news is that NDSU nor USD had to help pay for your band to attend. If you didn't know,
Wild.
Montana had to GoFundMe to get their band down there, in Montana State, which good for them. I mean,
Good on them.
It was smart of them to like put it out there, like, hey, look at us. We helped Montana get their band down there. But how embarrassing is that for Montana?
Dude, Montana State was totally able to take some of Montana's thunder with that. Like
100%.
I saw more about Montana State's band and
Right.
donating to the band than I saw about Montana making the national title game for like the last week.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
For all the attendance that they get at the, I mean, what, do they not charge anything for people to go to those games? Where does that money go? Like, how do you not have enough money to send your band down there? For God's
Their budget,
sake?
I would be ashamed if I were one of their fans for that.
Their budget is $3 million larger than South Dakota State's athletic budget. And so I don't know. I just think, honestly, it tells you how they feel about that, about their band. It just is what it is. There's a reason that we have the pride of the Dakotas and they have a band. So, and I can just hear the eye rolls and rage from Montana whistling across the prairie right now. God, what a terrible look.
It's so bad. I can't even.
Do a GoFundMe.
I can't even fathom SDSU having to do GoFundMe, number one, and number two, to have, like, if we for some reason had to do it and USD was like contributing, that would just, I don't know, I would hate it. And you said good on Montana State for supporting them. I don't know, man. If USD
so bad with that,
like, the only reason I would support that is just so that we can shove it in their face. But other than that, I don't want to support anything USD does. But
I don't know how you can call your rival little brother when they had to help you get your band to the championship game. That's all I'm saying. That's embarrassing shit.
Yeah,
right there. I just don't know how you do GoFundMe for it, but
it's just crazy. We digress.
We digress. We're way off the game again.
Let's see.
It's game adjacent.
It's game adjacent. The thing is, our interior is gonna have to hold up to Governor. Like, that dude.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He wrecks game plans on his own. Like, he's
kind of like what's his name, number 5 from Illinois State last year.
Yeah, I'd say he's more
not
like
quite as good as Zeke Vandenberg, but similar. You got to account for him at all times.
He's like our stud D tackles we had last year that just wreck games for people. And he does such a good. He does not seem to be. I'm freeing up the linebackers style nose tackle. Like, he's in there to make TFLs and get after it, and he's damn good at it, and he's a problem. And man, if we don't get rolling on them right away, and they are able to get us in second and long, third and long, because he's blowing up plays in the backfield, that's going to be a serious problem. There we go. Yeah, he's a better version of Caleb Sanders. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a more aggressive version of Caleb Sanders because
bigger than Caleb.
Right? Well, he's like
Caleb's
physically
undersized.
Yeah, he's a bigger version, that's for sure.
Right.
He's not huge.
I mean, he's bigger than Caleb Sanders was, I think. But
anyway,
dear
Google,
this worked against Albany. Google, so maybe we should just start pushing the agenda that 605 Hogs can't stop Gubner? Question mark.
Yeah, he's 285. They're gonna have problems with him because they could barely contain Sanders in practice. So
right. I don't. Yeah, but it's concerning if the run game doesn't get going, and they get it. That's what kind of happened with Southern Illinois and Montana State. The offense just didn't get going until the second half, especially Montana State. Or even Villanova a little bit for that matter. The defense just did a really good job of holding Villanova down, but that's what Villanova did to stay in the game for the half, is they just got the offense off the field quick. And I don't think we want this team you don't want to give them faith going, otherwise it's a dogfight the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest concern because I think we all know that I don't think he can keep it up all game. I think he can have some success early, but
Right.
as our offense has shown, we'll wear people down, and other teams usually don't have the type of depth that we do to be able to run guys in and out. And from what I remember of that game is that Gubner plays almost the whole game, and so I just don't see him being able to sustain it. But like you said, you don't want to give them any light in terms of thinking that they're in the game, staying close, staying within a score or two. You want to dominate from the start, and so it'll be up to the Hogs and the offense to neutralize that threat. And I think we see plenty of outside runs because I think we would just rather not run at him. And I have faith that Lujan will plan accordingly.
Yeah, it is a good question or point on the coaching, not necessarily out coaching teams in the second half, but it is interesting to note that even though Bobby Hauck is 0-3 in national title games, they interviewed him about that, and he said, well, yeah, we only had a week to prepare for those national title games, and a lot of times they're flying back from somewhere and then going to Chattanooga for those title games back then. There's a 3-week gap here, which naturally, I have all the faith in the world in Jimmy and the coaching staff for sure, but it is interesting that could be a factor. It's a potential factor. You've got an extremely veteran coaching staff. One of their coaches used to be an NFL coach at some point in his career, and they've got 3 weeks to dial stuff up with a defense that is designed to bring goofy stuff and get you off balance. So I'm real curious what Lujan and Jimmy and everything, how we open up, because you can't afford to open up rusty, and that has not been a hallmark of this team at all with after a bye or anything. So it's not something I'm super concerned with, but it's something that, I'm curious if that leads to an advantage one way or the other.
I just realized what the profile picture for this account.
Beavis, isn't
It's
it?
ridiculous. It is.
Because Bobby Hauck kind of does look like that.
A little bit.
Look like Beavis.
The nose for
bit.
sure. Bobby Hauck's nose is something else. But anyway, Juice Masters he really, really thinks the Grizz are gonna whoop the Jacks.
I mean, that's his team. Good on him.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, if I'm a Grizz fan, I absolutely would think they can win the game because they can win the game. From an SDSU perspective, it's really easy. It happens to me to be like, do you recognize what's coming down the pipe? But they can win. They absolutely can win. If SDSU comes out, if we come out and play our A game, a Albany repeat game that they come out with, absolutely the Jacks are going to win for
100%.
Sure.
And that
but this is college football, man.
If we play that well, it won't matter how well Montana plays.
Right.
We will win.
Yes.
But like you said, it's college football. I think the spread's around 12-13, and teams beat those odds all the time. So yes, Montana has a shot, 100%.
And
they're a good team.
And how rare is it for a team to click like that for one game period? Every fan base is, I want to see a 4-quarter game. I want to see their best game. And you usually don't ever get to see that. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
So to see that last week, to see a repeat performance would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would just awestruck if that happens a second time to play that well.
Quite the swan song at that point, right? I mean,
even if with that type of performance, we're not beating Montana 59-0.
No,
I mean, Montana's heads and shoulders better than Albany. Let's just admit that.
Well, I don't know about that. I think you got to remember Albany traveled across the country twice.
I'm not saying Albany's terrible.
Like, that doesn't help.
I'm not saying Albany's terrible. I'm just
Albany
saying
went
Montana,
to Idaho and won by more than Montana did.
Okay, heads
here
and
I
shoulders.
I am using comparative. Scores. But if we're going to go head and shoulders, then I'm going to compare a little bit here.
Head and shoulders was the wrong term. Montana is a better team than Albany. We'll just say that and leave it at that.
I don't think Albany is 59 points worse than SDSU.
No, I don't agree with that.
But I don't think that.
But they were.
They were that day for sure.
I
think it's more 35 points worse. I'm pretty comfortable with, but think snowball. We've talked about this before in games where shit snowballs out of hand and then they're toast. And I think that happened to him a little bit, but anyways, Ron finally caught me. He caught me on that, or no, he didn't catch that comment. He didn't see it. No, Montana's played quite the road to hoe to get here. And you don't want to be close in late in the game with them because they're pretty into it. Brooks Gnome, what are you related to the governor? I expect Montana to leave on their quarterback even more in the running game. He's big and physical, and it's got to be the Grizz' best chance to move the chains and stay out on the field on offense. I wouldn't be surprised, dude. He's a big dude.
He's huge.
He does not
like Gibbs big
40 when you watch him play. Dude's 240 pounds. Like, that's a big ass quarterback, man.
Yeah, he's a load. I think he can have some success on the ground, but I think it'll come down to whether he can be accurate once he gets forced out of the pocket. I just don't know that he's going to be able to make enough plays like that for them to have sustained success. But
the thing that scares me about him, you watch how he played against NDSU. I don't think that was his gag. Like he just looked I don't know if it was afraid or he just was uncertain with what he was going to do. I think if he plays confident and he decides to take off, he can be a real problem. He's definitely the type of athlete and quarterback that can pick up a 3rd and 17 that was well defended, but he's just athletic enough to do it if he decides to do that. I think if you see the uncertain McDowell from the NDSU game, then Montana's in serious trouble. But if he plays with confidence and takes off.
Yeah, I mean, and in that confidence and certainty, there was a comment earlier, I don't know who said it, but about how this will be SDSU's 3rd trip in 4 years. And that's going to be a big factor. I mean, yeah, Montana has history, but it's a while back. This will be all of their first players' times down in Frisco, and that can be a factor. And the amount of Blue fans that will be there and how loud we will be can be a factor. And so, if they get shaken from the start, and like you said, I mean, he was at home and he didn't look comfortable against NDSU.
Yeah.
Imagine how he's going to feel down in Frisco in front of a bunch of SDSU fans playing against an SDSU team that is better than NDSU. So I mean, he'll have to find that confidence right away, otherwise he's going to be in trouble.
Well, and they won all their big games at home,
right?
If you think about like all their big games, the Brawl, the Wild, they did win on the road. I think at Idaho. I believe they were on the road for Idaho, and won that game. But I'm curious how they'll handle that environment on the road. It's going to be loud for both teams. Honestly, hope our players are preparing for the noise a little bit as well, because as well as Jack's Nation is going to show out, it will be half Grizz. I think it'll be half and half, and so that it's going to create an incredible atmosphere. I think that stadium is going to be loud every second of that game, except for media timeouts, and even then it might be loud. I mean, it's going to have the juice like the semifinal did for both teams, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, God bless you, Juice Master. I don't know where this confidence in your passing game comes from with your 196 yards a game. It's terrifying. But I don't get it. I don't get the concept that these guys are pushing. But anyways, Yeah, I just don't understand we're going to torch you in the passing game. It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
we
no,
got to see
they'll. I
McDowell's best
mean,
game.
there have been teams that have had some success in the passing game against SDSU, but it's been mostly dink and dunk stuff, which again, that's by design. I will say there have been some deep shots that could have been hit. And if Montana is able to hit on those deep shots, it definitely increases their chances. But boy, they better hit them. Because, I mean, you've seen Villanova is another one that they had a chance at a deep shot that could have changed that game. And they didn't hit it. And then it was kind of over after that. And so they're going to have to hit those big plays to be able to make sure that they can stay in the game and be there at the end.
Yeah,
Well, just
you gotta
see it, yes.
Yeah, they gotta hit. Montana will have to hit on when the opportunity's there, and it's a national title game. This goes both ways, but you got to shop for a big play. You got to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Mark. He gets one of the Yankees or Wilde open down the
Right.
middle. You got to hit that play. You can't leave points on the field at any point in the game.
Yeah.
McDowell's the most passing yards he's had this season is 243. So they're a balanced offense. That's what they do, and that's not a bad thing.
And well, what's interesting, and I feel like Montana fans forget this, is how much they've had to rely on special teams, and how their offense hasn't been that dominant, honestly. It's
not
special
the playoffs,
team points count. I mean, so
right. And so if they're able to hit on a special team score or two, then yeah, it'll be a problem. But if SDSU does what they should, and I mean, like we said, we've got one of the best kickers and punters in the FCS, and we kind of have confidence that he'll make sure that that doesn't happen. And so, and our coverage team has been really, really good. So, yeah, I just, like Jim says, do not kick the ball to Junior Bergen, 100%. There is no reason to do that, and I would expect that we won't. And then the question will be, can Montana's offense put up enough points without the help of their special teams?
Yeah, I think if this game does go SDSU's way and SDSU jumps on them out of the box and has success offensively out of the box, I don't want to hear a word from Montana fans if Jimmy doesn't keeps the starters in until the final whistle. Because the amount I've had to hear about 09, and he hasn't forgotten. We've talked about this. There's part of the reason was the seniors wanted to touch on one more touchdown is why the starters stayed in. But you're going to have a bunch of dudes this is their last game in the blue and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not going to want to leave the field. And on top of it, Jimmy has not forgotten 09. And I don't see him going turtle and try to hang on to a lead if the Jacks get it. I expect a very aggressive play calling style out of the Jacks coaching staff.
No, we'll be stepping on that throat. I will guarantee it.
In the event that happens, I don't think it will happen, for the record. But if it does, I don't want to hear a single Classics comment. I don't want to hear a single, why don't you pull the starter? Nothing. I don't want to hear a damn word out of y'all, because the amount of times I've heard, 09, ha 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 ha, or SDSU's 0-8 against Montana. Yeah, 6 of those times were in D2, guys. Like, that's like wearing your varsity jacket, your Letterman's jacket to your damn class reunion. Like, it's kind of lame. 0-2, sure, absolutely, yeah. Don't be doing that. So,
Rev has a score prediction already. He says SDC wins 49-17.
oof,
God, I'd
I'd be
love to see
giddy.
that.
I would be
Oh
giddy
boy.
about it. God, that'd be fun. But
Yeah.
I mean,
That won't happen. That will not happen.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough to Jack's faithful. If you're on the fence and going, well, if I can find affordable tickets, especially with what we're doing at the tailgate, where you're going to be able to watch the game on a big screen. If you don't get a ticket, you got to go. If you can afford the rest, but the tickets are the problem, go. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is such a fun time. I promise you will not regret it if you enjoy anything similar to Hobo Day, except in a bigger city. It is, you'll never forget it. And this might be a more unforgettable one than NDSU, because this team is, if this team finishes out, I mean, this is SDSU's. You hear, and it's nauseating. You hear the NDSU fans, 2013 Bison, 2018 Bison. This is that team.
100%.
This is a historic team, and you're gonna want to have been there. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be a hoot.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's a comment.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna give him time anymore. But yeah, I mean, this team's incredible, and they've shown over and over again that they mean business, and they came back. All these guys came back for a reason, and it was to get back to Frisco and win another championship, and they want to do it for Jimmy in his first year. They wanted all the underclassmen want to do it for the guys on their way out. And like Brendan said, these teams only come around so often. Teams this dominant, this good, this complete only come around this often. Brooks says, Coach Sig said it, these are the good old days. Enjoy it. 100%. Yeah. You're gonna wish you were there to see this team win another national championship if that's the way it goes. So
most fan bases never get a team like this.
No.
Ever. I mean, we'll never see a team like this again in the FCS with the transfer portal and everything. It will never happen again.
Probably not.
Enjoy it. I'm telling you. Enjoy it. It's going to be a gas.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Well,
we're at $1.12.
Yep. We will have a bunch more shows coming up. I believe Dallas is going to be sending out a schedule for everybody. We'll have, I think, 3 shows: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, leading up to the game. So, yeah, look forward to those. Other than that,
I got one thing. Since I've been talking enough this episode, I might as well talk a little more. Just thanks again to everyone who's listening. We got a huge amount of people watching right now live. Thanks to everyone who listens on the pod. Thanks for everyone who comments. Share it. Shares are huge for us. All that stuff. Subscribe, all the fun things. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everything else. If you're like me and you're a Jacks fan and you're dying for content, that's why we're having so many shows, because we know everybody wants to hear about the game, what people think about the game. More content's good. And you're starving for podcasts like I am. Colter Nuanez covers Montana really well. There's the Montana podcast on FCS Nation on here as well. If you're looking for extra content, you've got Zimmer and Gaskins putting out episodes as well. Sioux Falls Live has their video live show that they do. Dakota News Now has all sorts of stuff coming out. So just to give you guys some ideas of where else you might be able to pick up some content and things like that, just to keep your thirst quenched over this last
whistles
before we party down. Oh, and FCS Nation Radio. Yeah. Kevin Marshall being on here. That'd have been rude to forget him. If you haven't heard Stone's take on the game, I recommend listening to it. It'll get you juiced. You'll be ready.
Sounds a little bit like maybe Stone's nickname is Juice Master.
Oh, that would be just perfection.
If we found out it was true, yeah, that would be.
But definitely listen to. They put out an episode on Saturday. They talked about the game coming up a lot, and Mark Gronowski was on there as a guest for the Alex's Lemonade Stand. So it was a very good show. Go give that a listen.
Yep, and Splitting Hairs too. Listen to those guys. All that stuff. They do a great job. Stacks and Kyle. So give those guys a listen. But if you're looking for content and you can't find any, we just gave you all of it.
Mm-hmm. So. Looks like
Scott Wagner on Splitting Hairs too.
The beard rule is we all have beards. You didn't have a beard, just to clarify that. To be on the podcast.
Somebody, who was it? I forget who it was at the tailgate, challenged me to a beard growing competition like at the start of this year.
Might have been me.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was, I think, was it one of the Anderson boys or?
It might have been. I know it wasn't me.
Yeah, I think so. I know it wasn't you. We were standing at the high top. They haven't said anything since. I can't imagine why. But
speaking of, Aaron mentioned giving Stone a pie in the face in Frisco, and I heard, is Kevin taking a pie in the face?
Yeah, I think.
When's that? When's that going to happen? Because I'd see it.
I believe that's going to be at the local as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was Steve. It was one. I knew it was one of the Anderson boys. Steve. Yes, sir. Yeah, people don't realize how fast this thing comes.
Amanda likes the challenges.
Oh my goodness. Amanda, I already had a challenge where someone challenged me with a beard shaving deal, and he already donated $200 to Alex's Lemonade Stand to get out of shaving his beard. So I've already put my beard on the line.
Speaking of Alex's Lemonade Stand, Chad has the standings up here. Looks like Gronowski's only just over $150 away from taking second place over Efton Chisholm. So we should make that happen. Also support Quentin Hicks along the way. Yeah, doing great things.
If you listen to the podcast the show on, Kevin's show, Fans Nation. Sorry, boy, I am struggling to talk today. I am struggling bad. But anyway, there was the lady from Sioux Falls from Northwestern Mutual did mention like twice that there's some there might be, these things might be closer than you think, and she hinted at the fact that Aiden Bauman has money that's been pledged that hasn't hit yet. And if I remember right, I had seen that. It doesn't show up now, so we might. Let's just push those numbers up there, get them as high as we can.
Shocking that the USD guys has to do something shady to get to the top of the standings, but I digress.
Password is playoffs.
Yeah, password is playoffs, but then we're going to take it away from everybody. No, but yeah, so don't slack off, Jack's BT Mafia. We gotta pump these boys up, ensure it, lock it in. There'll be opportunities down in Frisco as well to get involved with that and everything like that. So yeah, we gotta stay vigilant. We can't lose this last second because they wanted to sneak in something there. So
all right. With that, I think we should get out of here. Like I said, we'll have more shows coming up. I don't know if is there anything else this week? If not,
we did have National Signing Day, but
no, I'm saying for shows for us. But
oh yeah,
I'll be on with Matt Frazee. He's doing Two Margaritas with Matt here on Wednesday. I'll be recording that with him.
A new episode finally.
Yeah, it's been gone since the summer, so he's doing one of those. So
perfect. All right, with that, as Jim says, as we always say, go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Go Jacks.